Hi everybody, this is a very special Hangouts On Air. It's a live edition for sportschat.tv. I'm Jason Salas, I'm a broadcaster here in Guam, and I'm also a sports writer and sportscaster. This whole thing came about because several friends are here with me right now, and I'm hoping more join me, so we send out the invite. But so here's the people right here. So on the left we have Brian McDonald from Bayonne, New Jersey. You're still in Bayonne, right, Brian?
Yep.
And there's a Navy base there, if I'm mistaken.
There used to be a military terminal, military ocean terminal, but not anymore.
Okay, and the only reason I'm saying that, the only reason I know that is because I watched Men of Honor only like 1,000 times. Okay, and then probably somebody who knows more than the three men in this room combined and everything is the very amazing Brooke Brown, and she comes to us from Arizona. So what's up, Brooke?
Yeah, I apologize for the noise. It's early here.
Gotta love Starbucks, right? And Brooke is, of course, the creative force de jure behind sportschat.tv and everything. So if you guys don't have that very fine brand page circle back, because there's a lot of really cool stuff for you sports nuts. And then actually joining us right now and devoting and committing his time when he could be doing one of his many art hangouts and everything is Tim Clary. So Tim, good to see you, man.
Good to be here, Jason. This is gonna be fun.
Okay, and where exactly are you? Because I saw from your profile you've only lived in like 1,000 different places all over the map.
Oh, and I haven't lived in that many places. I'm up in northern New York, north of Syracuse. Shit tournament. So I'm bummed, but anyway.
Okay, well, you know, March Madness dreams or nightmares aside and everything like that. So we are talking today about the most rad and the most bad sports movies of all time. Now, typically, this is something that a lot of people have very strong opinions about, whether you're a genuine, legit sports fan or not. A little bit of background here, of course. You know, Hollywood has basically produced an awful lot of sports movies and a lot of awful sports movies. All right, we all know this and everything. And typically, the things that, at least in my mind, you know, you guys can all jump in as you see fit, but the things in my mind that make a sports movie work are, you know, if they're recapturing a timeless moment in athletics, you know, something that everybody can identify with, or, you know, depending on how well they tell a story, or if they fabricate something based on the concept of sports, and whether they either, you know, whether sports is kind of like a secondary cast member to the story, if you want to see it that way, or if sports is the main focus. You know, like Rudy necessarily was a football movie. The football action kind of took a backseat to the actual story of Rudy Rudiger and everything like that. So before we drill down and before the debate begins and people start throwing tomatoes at each other virtually and everything like that, so let's open up the floor and everything. So I guess we'll go left to right and everything. So Brian, in your opinion, what makes a winning sports movie?
Well, I think like one of the major things too is for people that are a fan of the sport to, you know, they'll know a lot about it, but something that will give them somewhat of an alternate glimpse into the sport that they probably may not have seen as a fan of it. Mm-hmm. And also, you know, just capturing all the dimensions of what goes into a sport, you know, so it's not just all serious and, you know, serious business. That you can get funny stuff and you meet characters, and that's the kind of stuff that makes the sports great to begin with.
Okay. And for purposes of full disclosure, we should add that Brian actually knows his stuff specifically within the domain of hockey movies. I'm sure we're going to get into it like shortly about specifically about hockey. Brian actually own your own company and you produce hockey equipment, right?
I have a company that does teaching as far as like skills training with hockey.
Okay.
And I do some designs for a hockey equipment company.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so Brooke Brown, over to you. What makes a good sports movie, and then conversely and everything, what about sports movies cause the productions to just completely turn into abominations of film?
I would have to say accuracy of how the sport is played makes it awesome. A complete plot with whether it's based on true story, because most of these best movies, in my opinion, one of my all-time favorite movies, is based on a true story. And thus, you know, it's great. But I would have to say a bad movie would have to be something that's really corny and is way too, I don't know, maybe like you predict the ending. You know that they're going to win.
Yeah.
And you know that everything's hunky-dory, but that's not always the case. So I would have to say there's a tit for tat on, all of that.
And probably the canonical film that people talk about when they didn't see the movie ending the way it was going to be was the first Rocky film. I mean, everybody thought Rocky was going to completely shred Apollo Creed, and I get this backwards a lot because Rocky 1 and 2 are not my favorite movies. Again, we'll get into that shortly. My favorite's Rocky 3, but
you are insane if Rocky 3 is your favorite.
Okay. Well, Hermine is here, even though we don't have her video feed yet. How are you doing? She is the beautiful Hermine. There she is. All right. So she's coming to us from Colorado.
I'm in San Antonio tonight. Hey, guys.
Oh, San Antonio. Okay.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Oh no, that's right. You are in San Antonio. You went to school in Colorado. I only did a lengthy interview post with you yesterday. You think I would know this? So.
It's okay. We didn't talk about geographic location. We were too busy talking about cool stuff like sports.
That's right. Okay. So, well, Tim, if you wouldn't, Tim was here first and everything like that, but we'll let ladies first and everything. So before we begin the debate, I mean, in your mind, and you are someone who has a great amount of sports knowledge, but you also love film a lot and everything. So combining those two schools of thought, what to you makes a winning sports film?
Something that makes you cry, but has enough of a sports theme that you'd better not. That's a great sports movie, in my humble opinion.
That's a great perspective. And I do cry quite often. Actually, the only movies that I will cry on, I will cry for, I should say, if I can get my preposition straight. The only movies I do cry at are probably sports movies. Cool Runnings, I always do, which laugh at me if you want. And Steel the Magnolias. So I'm a total I'm an island boy and a mama's boy and everything. So if you don't like it, tough.
Cool Runnings never gets old, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tim has been waiting patiently and everything like that. And Tim, what makes a great sports movie and what makes a sucky sports movie?
Well, I think a great sports movie is, inspirational. You get involved in the life of the character. Most good sports movies have a character arc where, they start small and build to greatness. Sucky sports movies are riddled with cliches. I don't know. Sucky sports movies just make me cringe. And I think it's hilarious that you picked Rocky 3 as your favorite of the Rocky movies, which I think is the absolute worst of the Rocky movies.
Okay, and there we have it. So now, and fittingly, because we're talking about boxing, let's kid gloves come off. I mean, this is a public hangout, so let's hopefully try and keep it profanity free. I know I'm going to, but anybody jump in whatever you want. Like, what are some examples of? Okay, let's. We did the fluffy, what makes a good sports movie. Let's talk about incredibly lame sports movies. So these are incredibly,
Rocky 3.
Pieces of crap on the silver screen. You think Rocky 3 is terrible? I think it is great because I like sports music and I like the whole training montages and everything like that.
Oh my God, that's the worst training montage. They're running along the beach and the hugging in the water. Oh my God, unreal. I mean, especially when you compare it to the montage in Rocky 4, which is amazing. You got Drago training in all of the crazy Soviet gyms, and Rocky's running up mountains and lugging logs. That one is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that was the running on the beach thing.
And Rocky 3, he fights Hulk Hogan and gets thrown out of the ring by Thunderlips. Come on.
That was bromance before we knew what bromance was. Before it actually had its own. Okay. And no, I will admit Rocky 4 is a great movie because it capitalized on the whole the Cold War aspect.
The Cold War.
Anyway. And actually, Rocky IV does have a really good soundtrack. I don't know if that's despite the movie or because of it, but that is a great sports soundtrack. Okay, Brian's been patiently spouting off in the chat here and everything. He says, "Cough, cough, Mighty Ducks and everything." And truth be known, this whole concept of talking about rad and bad sports movies began because Brian saw a post I did maybe about a week ago when I was talking with my office mates about how good the Mighty Ducks was. I personally believe that D2, the sequel when it was Team USA, was one of the best hockey movies. So you are in the hockey business, Brian. Why does Mighty Ducks suck in your opinion? And by the way, you're absolutely crazy.
Agree.
Well, the personal part of my hatred is that I'll shorten the story, but pretty much when I was younger, I grew up in New York City, and I was somewhat of an aspiring child actor and a hockey player. So we used to live at the ice rink that we played at, and my brother and I got asked to be skate guards for a private session, and we found out that it was going to be involving the cast of this movie, The Mighty Ducks, which we didn't really hear about it, and we got free passes to see the movie for doing that. But when they all got there, none of them could skate, or barely any of them could. A few of them could. So, like, as a child, I already didn't like it because it's like, how are these kids in a hockey movie and they can't skate? And then I saw the movie and it was like, oh my god! Even as a child, like when we were talking about it in your discussion, they were like, oh, you're hating it because it's it's a classic like kid movie. But even as a kid, I didn't like it just because the hockey wasn't real to me.
Okay, so accuracy to the actual sport, and would you say then that maybe, both of us obviously are on opposite polar ends of the whole Mighty Ducks thing. I love Mighty Ducks, specifically Part 2, just because I thought, it capitalized on national pride, and it was just so damn corny. You had the little Latino kid who was a speed skater.
And he couldn't stop.
Yeah, and it's like, remember, it's like go Luis, and like they're like, oh, Luis Mendoza, he can really fly. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
and then you had like
and the kid with the cowboy, the lasso.
Yeah, of course from Texas, and then you had like the little Asian kid who was a figure skater, and then
they randomly pull some kid off the street to play on their team.
Who wound up being Kellen from Good Burger, and now he's on Saturday Night Live. So who gets the last laugh there?
And the knuckle puck thing, which is the worst thing ever.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure. So based on what Brian said about accuracy to the sport, I'm pretty sure we all agree that Miracle, which of course was done by Disney, which came out in 2005, I believe, so that was 25 years after the Miracle on Ice in 1980. Mm-hmm. Would you say that is a better hockey movie because they didn't cast actors to play hockey players? They actually cast legitimate hockey players, and hopefully they could act.
That's like one of the pretty much, I would say, like one of the best examples of how to do a sports movie right. It just gets everything. You haven't seen it?
Apparently, you've never seen Michael Jordan act.
Are we going to bring Space Jam into the mix?
I've got Space Jam as one of my thumbs down ones. I used to work. Okay, and here is why. I won't dominate the conversation, of course, but here is why I think Space Jam and A League of Their Own, they just don't weigh really highly with me, because I used to work at Blockbuster when I was in college, and we would only watch 2 movies in an 8-hour shift. We'd watch A League of Their Own like at least 3 times, and Grease. So I've seen Grease and A League of Their Own probably more than any man on earth ever should, and I'm just so sick of those movies. I just can't watch them anymore.
Okay.
Okay. One thing that Hermine was saying in the chat was Bad News Bears, which is a really good contribution, because of course that plays back to the original theory about sports movies that don't always end the way you think they were going to end. So why would you say?
I was saying that I just didn't like it, especially the remake. I'm sorry, that was me talking trash. Go ahead.
But the original with Walter Matthau, that's a classic.
Oh yeah, the original was good, but you know what? I was thinking of a Sling Blade guy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name just now.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, it just didn't work for me.
And in the original Bad News Bears movies, they did not win.
Right, and there's not enough of sports movies that are like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even bother seeing the remake of it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, that's the one I was talking about. So I'm sorry that I had the disconnect, but yes.
No, a lot of. Oh, go ahead, Brooke.
I was just going to say, to go back on a point you made a minute and 30 seconds ago, I have to say that I love A League of Their Own. I just love that movie. Tom Hanks rules as the coach. There's no crying in baseball. I mean,
that is
come
a
on.
great line. That whole speech is awesome.
So, I mean, I like that movie.
So has anyone agreed with Jason yet?
Pretty much so.
No, I think he's just Mr. Disagreeable tonight because that has to be his role for us to have an interesting conversation. Someone has to disagree.
I feel bad.
I just think this is
I want to hear his defense of Rocky 3 after I,
Are we back to Rocky? I just thought it was, Rocky, again, getting back to the Rocky 3 thing, it was his nemesis became his friend, and of course, like he and Apollo wound up became training partners, and then the whole thing about, they positioned Mr. T as, as the ultimate evil, and Rocky was, like at that point he was rich and he was famous, and he developed this culture about him, but he was still, kind of like, as far as his personality and mentally, he was still kind of like that naive little boy. And, the mechanics he had with his family and, that whole dynamic and everything like that. I mean, I just thought it was a really good movie that you can still watch. Yeah, the Thunder Lips thing was campy as hell. I mean, you can't get past that.
Boy, I don't know. It really, out of all the Rocky movies, though, that one's your favorite? You're sticking with that?
Yeah. Part 1 and Part 2 never really resonated with me. I mean, I like them. I mean, they're good films. They're good sports films. The one that just really stands out to me is Part 3.
That is mind-blowing.
May I also add that I work in the industry and everything, so like I'm not throwing my weight around. I'm just saying, like, with that admission, I probably won't be in the industry much longer.
All right.
What else? If you like that bad movie, what else will you like? I don't know. I thought we were going to talk about some classics, some greats.
Sure.
Okay, so throw some out. What do you got?
Well, I'd have to say my all-time favorite movie. Out of all movies that I've seen, my all-time favorite movie is a sports movie, and that would be Remember the Titans. Hands down. Hands down. Denzel Washington plays that role better than anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And it's based on a true story. And, you got Sunshine, you had all the characters, so it was great.
And of course, Sunshine wound up being the real-life Ronnie Bass, who wound up working at ABC Sports later on, which is a really cool subplot.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's a movie that I would watch. Like if it was ever on TV, like you would just watch it. It never gets old.
You would show up to work late if that movie was on in the morning.
Marvel.
Okay, and here's the thing. So maybe let's continue on this thing, because Brooke brings up a really good point. Specifically within the genre of sports movies, football movies are really unique because football itself, you deal with. It's not like basketball where you've got the same 5 guys on the court, offense and defense. Football, you've got 11 guys come in, ball switches hands, you've got 11 different guys. So as far as trying to tell a story cinematically, that's really challenging. And typically most sports movies only really try and build up the character development of like maybe 3 or 4 guys on a team. I'm thinking the only one that pops into my mind where you really got to know a lot of different players on the same team was maybe The Replacements, where like there were like 2 or 3 linemen that they kind of told the story of, and then of course Shane Falco was Keanu Reeves, and then you had what was it?
I love The Replacements. I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
the running back was an ex-con, and the
I'm a
linebacker
pretty
was a cop.
anti-Keanu guy, so I think I specifically avoided that one.
No, that's a good movie.
But out of all the Keanu Reeves movies, though, that was one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Really?
Because
Your best football
it was more centered. It was more centered around.
I mean, not disregarding Remember the Titans. I don't know.
No, I'm saying The
I haven't
Replacements.
seen it though, so I can't judge.
I actually don't have any favorite ones that are football related because I do like the idea of a smaller cast where I get to know the characters a bit more. And I think that there's some sports that, obviously basketball, boxing, some of the tend to lend to that. So.
Mm. Well, like what I was talking about, and too, with like character development, and that's a really good point, Hermine, because it's hard to do that, within maybe an hour and a half in a movie where you can actually, there's 22 different guys, not even thinking about special teams. But let's consider a movie like Varsity Blues, right, where you basically only knew the lineman, the wide receiver, and the quarterback, and that's basically the only personalities. But it was told very well.
It's always the person who protects, it's the person who throws, and it's the person who catches. That's
exactly.
That's life. I want to see a little bit more complexity.
Yeah,
and I think that made a good movie too, because the actual sports action was good.
And there haven't been.
But you got to remember, when it comes to remember the Titans, though, you have to remember that it was more to remember the Titans than just them as a football team. It was also the time in American history with integration and how they had to overcome being put together as two races as a team, and to overcome that, and then prove to their families and friends around them that they could overcome that in life.
See, but I just like the way that what was the basketball? It was Texas Wesleyan, and he was a coach, and it was the first integrated. It just told the story a little bit.
That was Glory Road.
Yeah, that one to me told an amazing story, and unfortunately, I thought one that not many people watched. But I sat back, and maybe I didn't want to cry, but I felt like it was a triumph over spirit, and that's why sports are so amazing, is because there is something about athletics and sports where you can take the politics out, and it really is just about the best, hopefully, man winning or losing, and it plays towards those humanistic traits and sides. It really is, somebody's got to be bad, somebody's got to be good. It's Star Wars on Earth, or whatever the situation is, and I do struggle when you put more characters on the screen.
Yeah, you think about Friday Night Lights, the film versus the television show. You know, you have so much more time to develop the characters, and you can get, you know, so much more intricate stories into a longer series like that. And you know, a 2-hour film, you know, that you're really, especially with what we were saying with a large cast of characters that you got in a football team, you're really jamming a lot in. You can't stand the Friday Night Lights TV show? That's unbelievable.
No, I loved the show.
Well, Brooke just put it in the chat. That blew me away.
I can't stand the TV show. Love the movie. Can't stand. I couldn't get 5 minutes past one episode.
Oh my God,
that show.
That was one of the best shows.
Because they did not keep everybody who was in the movie. I hate when they miscast things. And B, it was only for a season that the movie occurred, but they're taking it longer than the actual story. So they've overstepped their bounds and actually making it accurate. Beyond
the basis in reality, which I thought, you know, I mean, it's not like they were trying to portray I mean, as a movie, it was a biopic, but they never said that the television show was going to be a biopic. So to me, it didn't bother me.
True, but they advertised it as if it was going to be like the movie. And then the acting quality and the plot behind the show does not match the movie after the first season.
Well, you should be glad it's off the air now.
Well, I'm just going to have to agree to disagree with you there.
Well, and you know, to be completely fair, that is on NBC, and NBC also did the same thing this TV season with trying to turn The Firm into a television show, which I didn't understand, because I thought, you know, the movie with Tom Cruise and everything ended pretty appropriately and everything. I did not understand why they could turn that into a TV show.
Yeah,
I worked for an NBC affiliate.
You're fired.
Okay, and I must add, and I hate to go back to this and belabor the point, but just to show that I'm not crazy, Ralph Mendoza actually put in our comments, at least on my thread and everything, he goes, "I love Rocky III, there I said it." So now there are two of us.
Right.
Success.
Out of 100 million, there are 2.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take what I can get.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
I have to agree with you, Jason. I like Rocky III. Rocky VI was probably the worst one.
I didn't actually see Rocky.
I know there was a 6.
That was just Rocky Balboa,
right?
Yeah, Rocky Balboa, but that's considered the 6th because they did continue the story just without characters.
Okay. Yeah. And you know, more recently, I think a movie that probably we all can agree on, and certainly, you know, the Academy Award Committee agreed on, was The Blind Side. What's everybody's thoughts?
I'm not even going to go there. I don't think that was a great sports movie at all. I think it was a great movie about human triumph, some other things. I don't think the acting was that great, so I cannot believe she won an Oscar. But hey, that's my 2 cents. What else you want to know?
Wow.
Yeah, I did not. I think that was like, for me, it actually kind of made me, I appreciated the person, but it was just like, really, dude? She saved someone, let them into their house? Like, good for her.
Yeah,
Well,
actually, I didn't see it because it was so hyped.
Yeah.
I loved that movie. I absolutely loved that movie, and I thought Sandra Bullock was brilliant. So I can agree that, I'm going to have to disagree on that because the story is he's in the NFL now. He's been playing the NFL. It's a great story, and I think it was brilliantly acted by Sandra Bullock and the cast.
I thought the runaway star in that movie was actually Tim McGraw. I thought for the few scenes that he was in, and that one scene when they're in the living room and he kind of like tells Michael Orr, who becomes like basically his stepson, about the charge of the Light Brigade, and he kind of breaks that down for his paper. I thought that was a brilliant scene right there. I thought that was the runaway scene of the movie as far as performance.
Yeah. I'd have to say the little brother, the little kid. He kind of had some of the most comedic moments of that movie, and he really kind of helped his brother become a better football player in the movie. So.
Okay, so I guess Brian, you're the tiebreaker, dude. So I hate to put the pressure on you and everything, but thumbs up or thumbs down on The Blind Side?
Thumbs up overall. I don't know. You can't really hate it, in my view, but
That's
it
fair.
wasn't.
I'm gonna hate. I'm just gonna put something more stiff in my drink. Keep going.
All right. Okay. Okay. So what did everybody think about? Let's talk about a story that probably everybody is, even if you're not a major sports fan, at least as with American culture. I put down on my list, and we all have access to the shared doc that we've been working on for the last week leading up to this hangout. I thought Ali was a good movie. Everybody, at least in our country, is familiar with the story of Cassius Clay becomes Muhammad Ali, becomes pariah to some, saint to others, and everything like that. But how did you feel about Will Smith's portrayal of him and just the way they told that story?
I liked it.
It was brilliant.
I watched that movie again last summer, I think, and I thought he did a good job. He bulked up for the role, and he had the diction down, I think. Mm-hmm. The rhythm of the way Ali spoke. I liked it.
And although unfortunately everybody watching this cannot see what's going on in the chat, I wish it was, because Hermine has just brought a hellfire missile today, man.
I'm at an 0-2 count right now. I'm like starting to strike out. I'm like, I got to hit some balls, stay in the game a little bit. But I thought that was my perspective. He got one of the biggest roles that a lot of people would have been thankful for, and I did not think he did it as much service as some others would have given the opportunity.
You would have given it to Denzel, wouldn't you?
Oh, gosh, yeah. He's much more fun. Absolutely. I would have given it to an actor instead of a movie star.
Okay, and if I remember the movie correctly, the movie actually ended. Did it end when Ali fought George Foreman in Kinshasa, or was it the Thriller in Manila?
I thought it was the Thriller, but I don't remember it as well. Because
honestly,
it's not that it's something I would have seen a second.
I think it was probably the
Thriller in Manila.
Foreman.
Because I do remember when the movie ended, I was like, wait a minute, he's got so much more of his life ahead of him, and there's so much to the story of Muhammad Ali and who he became. And all it had was a ground.
That as Will Smith, it would have been too painful for us to watch. Let me tell you. Sorry, you're terrible.
pull no punches, Hermine, feel free.
I'm totally joking. But there was one. Who did it? The guy that did Ray Charles. And I knew it was
Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is very underutilized in that movie.
I mean, to me, if you would have given that to a Jamie Foxx, the same role.
Jamie Foxx was in that movie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't he one of the trainers?
Yeah, he played. He played Malcolm X in that movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it just went for me. It just slightly different casting, and when I see him, I forget that, oh yeah, I'm not watching Ray Charles. The problem with Will Smith, the entire movie was, what's Will going to do next? I never got into Ali. I never understood Clay. He was almost too big of a star for those britches. That's important if you're going to play that role.
I'd have to disagree, because Muhammad Ali was on the set and taught him everything, and Muhammad Ali had to okay everything in that movie for it to be considered to go forward. So I'd say he learned from the man himself.
I say that the man himself coached him. I don't know how much he learned.
Oh!
I'm so glad this is going to be recorded forever.
Everybody's got gainful employment at least at the moment, right?
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not in an hour. Okay, well, I'm looking at the document which we shared on Google Docs again, and Tim a few days ago he's got a very comprehensive list, and I'll make the document like fully public, once this goes up and once it's archived on YouTube. Tim put some wrestling movies in there, and he goes to what I guess most of us would consider old school. He talks about Vision Quest.
I love Vision Quest.
Which is probably more known for the Madonna song that was part of the soundtrack than the actual movie.
I don't even remember the Madonna
just
song. All I remember is the Lunatic Fringe song when he's getting ready to do it, the final match. Oh, I love that scene. I actually posted the scene probably to you, Jason. I forget.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, the one thing about Vision Quest is remember how Matthew Modine ran around and he looked like a damn Jiffy Pop. It was the reflective. Okay.
Oh yeah,
where I grew up, and granted, I live in the islands, right? If you wear one of those workout suits, the whole reflective, you look like you slapped on Reynolds wrap or something. Two things are going to happen. One, whoever sees you it's like an unwritten rule here. Go beat that guy up because he wore that. And two, you're going to pass out on account of the heat. That was just so corny.
Well, I mean, he was wearing that to suck weight because the whole movie is trying to drop weight so that he can fight the state champion or wrestle the state champion. Mm-hmm. So.
And who's the female lead in that? Was it Deborah Winger?
No, but I got IMDb pulled up. I'll check it out.
Okay. And Brooke says she hasn't seen Vision Quest, which is, depending how you look at it, blessing or curse.
That's not surprising. I mean, it's a pretty little-known movie. I had some buddies that were wrestlers, so.
Well, and since we did mention it, of course, Madonna does have the great song in Vision Quest. And getting back to A League of Their Own, I thought This Used to Be My Playground. That is one of Madonna's best songs ever. That is, I love that piece of music. That's a phenomenal song, especially when they roll it at the end credit sequence when all the women, like in what's supposed to be the modern day, they're actually playing a game. That was a beautiful end credit sequence.
Yeah, it is. I like that. Does anybody else have an inspirational song used in a movie that you go to or you like?
Well, one is it's kind of like half funny, half serious, but You're the Best Around from Karate Kid.
We do agree on something, Brian.
There we go.
That's a greatest song. That is the best.
Around.
Okay, and Hermine puts Top Gun had the best volleyball songs, probably the worst volleyball scene, and I played volleyball.
They play in jeans.
Yeah, the jeans.
Volleyball in jeans.
Their serving was terrible. Their approach, everything about it just made you cringe if you knew the sport, but they just look good doing it.
Okay, here's my opinion, and maybe this is going to endear you guys maybe to actually be my friends and not think I'm such a dork about sports movies. As a volleyball player, right? I thought Tom Cruise couldn't play volleyball to save his life. Val Kilmer was decent. He could maybe make a varsity squad. I actually thought the guy who did the best in that scene in Top Gun was Rick Rossovich. Remember Slider?
Is he Iceman's partner?
Yes, he's.
Okay, then I totally agree. Yep. Yeah. I didn't know his name.
I mean, the guy's like 6'5" anyway, and to the best of my knowledge, the only thing he did as far as acting after Top Gun came out was he was in ER for like a season, and he was in Roxanne. Remember the remake of Cyrano de Bergerac?
Oh, I love the original Cyrano de Bergerac, but I didn't know he was in he was the guy that couldn't remember any romance lines and everything. You know what's funny? I always see him on shows that don't quite make it on cable. So I think he's done, a few stints here and there, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so now that we're talking about volleyball, and I know leading up to today's hangout, I actually put a post in there. Has anybody else but me seen Side Out?
I have not.
Sorry.
Consider yourselves lucky.
I was going to say, are there any volleyball movies? But I guess, is that like the only one?
Yeah, I was trying to think. Is like Karch Cry in anything? Or is, like some of those Kent Steffes?
Well, that no, Kent Steffes, or not Kent Steffes, but Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith, the Kings of the Beach for many years. They are actually in Side Out, and Steve Timmons, who was on the national team, is in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. So, but Side Out was kind of the movie that. Remember how C. Thomas Howell went from being like, they're like, oh wow, he did The Outsiders, and then he did Red Dawn, and everyone was like, wow, he's going to be like one of the greatest actors to like ever grace the silver screen. Side Out was like the pivotal moment which caused his career to be like, okay, straight to video, you're like the king of Cinemax now and everything, and that is what caused his downward spiral.
It ruined his life.
And they never made another volleyball movie again.
No, as far as I know, the only two movies about my beloved sport that exist are Side Out, and there was a movie that featured the '85 men's national team that was called Spiker. In terms of whether Karchkar has actually been in a movie, Hermine, yes, I think he was in Spiker. But Spiker was so bad. I wrote about this earlier. Spiker was so bad it actually made Side Out, as bad as it was, look like freaking Citizen Kane.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
It was pretty bad.
Well, I guess every sports movie is good from there. It was funny you guys were talking a lot, and I think that's the challenge because, and I don't know if you guys have a similar thing where you've played so many of the sports that if they don't honor it to a very solid degree, I can't stand watching it. So there's two movies where I think they paid respects because everything that you were taught in the sports they really showed, and one of them was Hoosiers.
Oh, Hoosiers is great.
I mean, it's just. I still remember my state championship run and, ultimately getting at the end and winning it and knowing what it's to be on the other side, but just everything that came through and the team bonding and the challenges you had along the way, that nailed it. But the other movie I appreciated is because I know nothing about the sport, and I appreciated that they took me in and they respected my overall intelligence, was Blue Crush. Yeah.
Is that a surfing movie? I think I've seen the ads for that one. I didn't actually see it.
I was so impressed with the story. Ultimately, it didn't matter, at the wave competition at the end, whether she rode or not. I learned something watching the movie and thought I was better off for it. So, that's it.
Cool.
I have never seen Hoosiers, and I have never seen Caddyshack.
You've never seen Hoosiers? Oh, man.
I've never seen Caddyshack.
We need to stop this.
I know! You cannot be doing Hangouts.
We need to do it all over again because that's like, you're disqualified from having this discussion.
Dude, now Rocky 3 makes sense why you like that. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned Caddyshack, like, what about funny sports movies?
Yeah, that's a great point because, of course, something that makes sports movies really work is the element of comedy, and especially if you deal with maybe young people. Like I was thinking like the movie Little Giants and everything. So what do you guys think are like some movies that really leverage comedy in sports?
Well, can I interject first?
Sure, go ahead, Brooke.
Well, I was just gonna interject in bad sports movies. Air Bud, the Air Bud series, uplifting stories, horrible. Yeah, come on. A dog playing basketball? Really?
What about MVP, Most Valuable Primate?
Oh God.
Anytime you put an animal
what was that
in
one
the lead role of a movie, period, it's bad. If that animal is an actor.
No, what was that one movie? What was that movie that came out, and I know Disney did it, where it had like a horse that kicked field goals? That was the original film was in the 70s. I forgot what it was called.
I don't know. I don't want to see it.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah,
Racing Stripes, although that one I didn't even see, but a zebra as a racehorse.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. So we were talking about comedy. Yes, comedy. So comedy definitely makes the sports experience like a little bit, it gels a little bit more, and it makes it, it kind of blends the human emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to spell it. Bull Durham?
Bull Durham. Oh,
what about Angels in the Outfield? Come on.
I don't know about Angels in the Outfield.
Major League
didn't do it for me.
Me neither.
How about Slapshot, Brian? I know you got a lot of Slapshot.
Yeah, Slapshot definitely.
Does anyone remember Cool Runnings?
Yeah.
No, cool. Okay. You guys go ahead and talk about Cool Runnings, and then I will have the last word because I'm an island boy and I reserve that right. So Please, cool runnings. Have at it.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Feel
funny.
the rhythm. Oh, we're not saying that. Sorry.
It was just that the premise of it was hot and cold, and black folks doing winter sports. Like everything about it was just it didn't connect, and so it was awesome that they achieved all this difference. It was just funny. I don't know. It was all.
Yeah, I was a fan of it.
Yeah, I didn't mind. Okay, you've held your tongue enough. What?
Okay, so being from the islands, I mean, I could completely identify with the way the story was told, and being from a small community which is very family oriented and very very appreciative of things like respecting our elders and respecting women and having that sense of pride about yourself and humility. For people to do what is not expected of them and to give it your very best try and have like an entire community like rooting for you like they showed in the movie and everything like that, and then at the last moment when they finally started earning international respect, to actually wipe out. And then when it was it was Leon, and it was Doug, and then the two guys I don't remember their names, but they actually picked up the Jamaican bobsled, and they were like, "No man, we got to finish the race." And for me, I always cry at that scene. If that scene came on YouTube right now, and like if you guys embedded it in this Hangout and everything like that, I would lose it, because for me, I completely identify with that moment. And I mean, I know I said it in jest and everything like that, but as an island guy, I completely know what that's like, and that epitomizes island pride right there, and it always gets me, and that's why I love that movie so much. That one scene.
Wow, that's great. Gosh,
That and John Candy.
Yeah, John Candy.
Yeah, I forgot. He was great.
Cool Runnings just never gets old.
Movie before he died, right?
Was it really?
Or what was that? It was either that or it was Canadian Bacon.
Yeah, it was Canadian Bacon.
Okay.
Canadian Bacon. Another classic of the silver screen.
Yeah, I feel bad because there's some that I haven't seen here. What else was great? Karate Kid was good. Well, like I said, when my daughter, we actually do this thing where we watch 80s movies. Do you guys ever do that with like friends, family? You go back a few decades. It's so bad.
I always watch 80s movies.
And you just cringe.
Karate Kid doesn't hold up, is that what you're saying?
Okay, do you guys know? Like,
he does though.
Like remember like exactly all the guys that had roles in Cobra Kai. There was that one actor who wound up being Lamar from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
But remember that one guy with the frosted hair, the guy with like the platinum hair? Get him a body bag. You know who that was? That was Steve McQueen's son.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Little factoid. Interesting.
Yeah, that's.
Little.
So is this taking some of the shine off my Rocky 3 fandom? Hopefully, please.
Well,
Tim.
The fact that you haven't seen Hoosiers and Rocky 3 is your favorite of the Rocky movies.
You gotta step it up.
I don't know, man. We might have to revoke your sports reporting card. I don't know. I don't know how I can.
I'm dying over here. Okay, well, since Hermine brought up, going back to the 80s and old school, there's probably one sport that we haven't talked about, aside from Karate Kid, is martial arts. Do you guys know Best of the Best? That's kind of like a cult movie.
Yeah, I saw you put that on your list, and I was trying hard to think if I'd seen it or not, and I can't really recall it.
It's about the U.S. Taekwondo team, and James Earl Jones is the coach, and Eric Roberts is... Yeah, Eric Roberts is like one of the main guys. The acting in it leaves a lot to be desired, and it's very melodramatic, but it has got one of the best scenes, and you can look it up on YouTube because it's only like there are 1,000 different places. It is one of the best sports scenes, and is feeling. Talk about I don't want to ruin it for you guys who haven't seen it, but talk about endings that you never expected and everything like that. Best of the Best is a great movie.
It's not even coming up on IMDb, dude. Like, really?
I got it.
No, it is. Yeah, it's up there.
Best of the Best?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, here.
Okay, and Brooke actually puts in chats, are those really sports? Talking about Taekwondo and...
Dude, no. I was talking about chess and
if you competed in the Olympics, it's a sport.
Bob, go ahead, sorry.
No, she was talking about chess and spelling bee.
Okay.
Oh, chess and spelling bee, okay.
Chess? Chess is a brilliant sport.
I would agree.
It's a mind sport in a way, but it's not a sport, if you know what I mean.
Boy.
There's competition. There's a winner,
Definitely
there's a loser.
competition.
They keep score.
Okay, so would you
But
consider like
there's
Little
no
Man?
physical exertion about that.
Well, you sweat.
There's no physical exertion in golf. Just kidding, but
That's a good point.
Okay,
Actually,
so I
there
don't
is.
I know I'm joking a little bit. Go ahead.
Here's the question then. So if for those of you who actually accept chess as a sport and chess movies as legitimate, would you consider Little Man Tate and Searching for Bobby Fischer?
No.
That's funny that you mentioned that because I know people that were in both of those movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, actually, Searching for Bobby Fischer was written about a girl who I went to school with. Her brother was pretty much the focus of it.
Wow.
And
Can you give us an update? What's her brother doing now?
actually, I think he does martial arts.
Of course.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
And Little Man Tate, the little kid was the brother of one of my friends when I was growing up.
Hey, Matt Rappaport's here. Hey, Matt is actually, for the edification of you who are watching this live, Matt basically came fresh off another hangout that he's been in for like at least the last hour and everything like that. But good to have you here, man.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, yeah, I agree. Dude, here's the question we want to know. Have you seen Hoosiers or not?
Of course, Gene Hackman. How could you not love that movie?
I love my New Yorkers.
Matt, if you can believe this or not, we've got two sports
boy.
reporters in here. Neither of them have seen Hoosiers. My mind is literally like exploding out of my head.
I already put up that GIF. I put up a GIF of a guy with his mind exploding. So you should.
That was him. I got it.
Yeah. Hey, no, but you know what? To be fair, I mean, sure there is movies they've seen that you haven't. I mean, I get it. They're gonna see them, right? Did they promise you? Did you make them swear they're gonna watch it in the next X amount of time?
Yeah, I greatly
I
appreciate it, and just see where it racks and stacks. I mean,
I told
and I
Jason
know
we should just
better
quit
than
the
Cool
hangout
Running.
and start all over after he's seen the movie, but
Yeah.
we'll let it slide.
And
Okay, well
remember
here's something, because we Matt, when you jumped in, we were just debating on whether chess, and then Hermine kind of said whether chess and golf are considered like sports movies. One movie that I really like, probably more for the performances, even though the golf played a major role in the movie, kind of like sport as character,
Happy
is
Gilmore.
Legend of Bagger Vance, and a lot of people don't like that movie. I don't know why.
I was just about to say Legend of Bagger
Hermine's
Vance.
probably gonna
Yes.
blow a gasket on this one.
Okay,
I mean, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think.
Isn't like Legend of Bagger Vance like Fight Club for golf?
That's really funny.
Hey, Jason.
Opposite of Fight Club, but sure.
No, but isn't one of them a ghost? Spoiler alert.
You ruined the movie.
Oh well.
No,
So,
I
Brooke,
love Legend of
Brooke, you
Bagger
have
Vance.
Really?
I absolutely love that movie. I can buy it's always on TNT, and I watch it every time.
Mhm.
I think
I think
That's
Matt
like
Damon
eating
and
chocolate.
I think Matt Damon and Charlize Theron and Will Smith are brilliant in that movie.
That's Theron. I have no idea.
I think there should be a rule about movies that have been on TNT, TNN, or TBS more than a certain number of times. Like there should just like Beastmaster. There should just be rules against them ever showing up on any other list. Willow.
I have to disagree. Because I always show
Wait,
Forrest
did you
Gump,
say you don't
and that's
like
one of the
you
best.
don't like Willow? Did you say you don't
Dude,
like
I'm not even going there because it's not sports, but it was really just a joke. But
What's wrong with Willow? But that's all Warwick Davis has. That and Return of the Jedi. Poor bastard.
Okay, well, another, I guess, many people consider it a sport, but I'll leave it up to the panelists here and everything to debate whether it's legit. And Tim actually made this point in the Google Doc, is whether billiards / pool / snooker are sports and everything. So good or bad.
Not if you call it snookered.
Snooker is actually really hard. I played some pool in my day and everything. Like, snooker is a completely different game.
Yeah, don't they use a huge table? I don't know. I've never played snooker, I don't think.
The Hustler,
But,
Color of Money, those are real. Those
yeah,
are
The
sports.
Hustler and The Color of Money. That's why I brought it
The
up,
Color
because
of
those are
Money?
two great movies. And I couldn't think of
I
any
agree.
sports movies that Paul Newman had been in, and he's one of my favorite actors. So
Slapshot?
Yeah, that's a
Slapshot.
Besides Slapshot, you're right.
Okay.
We talked about Slapshot earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, good.
But yeah,
You guys
I don't know.
movies.
So I don't know if pool is a sport or not, but those are awesome movies. And
Yeah, I don't think
anybody's
anybody's going to disagree with
Wait, if it's on ESPN, does that mean it's a sport? Or has that...
I agree. That's why I was going to say the Spelling Bee is supposed to be on there. There's a couple great Spelling Bee movies. Just saying.
There's more than one good spelling.
Except the fact the Spelling Bee has not been on ESPN for 3 years. It's moved to ABC, thus it's not a sport.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They took it away.
It was a sport up until 3 years ago. So can movies before that be called?
Now, you know what's interesting? Sorry, don't mean to tangentially change and everything like that, but a sport that we actually haven't really talked about a lot, except for A League of Their Own, as we've been talking about sports movies, like going on for almost an hour now, is baseball. That's kind of
What? The first movie I thought of when I came here was Field of Dreams. I was like, did you not?
Oh,
That's a classic. That's another one of my dad's favorites.
Now, could you take the baseball out of Field? Okay, I'm sorry. Could you take the baseball out of Field of Dreams? Because I think if you did, I mean, that's a major part of the plot, obviously.
Wait, is this a game we're playing?
It'll be an amazing movie.
How could it be an amazing movie? It's all about baseball. He builds a baseball field. What would he build instead?
And James Earl Jones gives like a 5-minute speech on the merits of baseball.
James Earl Jones wouldn't be in the movie if there was no baseball.
Dude, you can put any movie and put his voice in it, and it's a good movie. Done.
James Earl Jones is amazing. I agree.
I'm going to IMDb James Earl Jones because he's got some stinkers, I'm sure.
Well, I'm just thinking, Matt, based on what you said, I'm thinking, just the whole concept of, dude meets his dad and goes back. I mean, yeah, it is over the baseball metaphor, so that was pretty stupid on my part. But I'm just thinking, I actually appreciate, I guess what I was getting at is I appreciate the acting and the plot of Field of Dreams more than, whether it's an actual sports movie, where the sport, and competition is actually a game. I mean, yeah, it was cool to see, the whole Ray Kinsella thing, but of course at the end, Dad, you want to have a catch? I mean, that was
so you're talking about a movie that's about like really sports competition versus a movie that just has sports in it?
Well, you can draw the distinctions between the two if you have, we talked earlier before you came in about, having a sport basically be one of the characters in the cast. So based on that and everything, because I think, and that's interesting we bring this up, because I think baseball probably more than any other sport winds up being a secondary character in a lot of movies. Is like one of my favorite movies came out only on HBO and then went straight to video was a Billy Crystal's movie 61.
Yeah,
about Mickey Mantle and Roger. That is a beautiful film, and yeah, it has to do with baseball and everything like that. But it's more about the human relationships between Mickey Mantle and what Roger Maris went through and how unbelievably tortured he was in 1961.
It actually had more to do with Billy Crystal's desire to spend all his time in Yankee Stadium for a couple of months and hit balls while he was filming.
But that's kind of like what I mentioned as far as being able to see a part of the sport that you don't hear about as much. Like you know everything that happened in their careers, pretty as far as the accomplishments they had, but you didn't really see that behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, so what are some good baseball movies? Just
Major League.
Rapid fire. Yeah.
Bull Durham, Field of Dreams,
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. Let's see if I got any others on
The Rookie. Come on with Dennis Quaid. The Rookie was amazing.
Mr. Baseball.
Wait, are we just naming every baseball movie or good baseball?
Wait. I
can name every baseball movie.
Just notable.
Wait, who just yelled at that? Because I like Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck when he goes to Japan and plays.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
Well, no, it's a good movie, but it's like we're talking best movies or any movie that was decent.
Wait, was it Mr. Baseball where he could have hit the pitch or he didn't? What was that movie?
Which was that?
Oh, wait,
where
Mr.
if he hits the pitch, he goes off and has a major league career, and if he doesn't, he stays out.
You're talking about Mr. Destiny.
That was it, Mr. Destiny. You're right.
Not about baseball. That moment in his life where he could have hit a home run.
Well, it was almost like O.J. Simpson's life story.
Wait, what about Mr. 3000 with Bernie Mac?
I've got
what about basketball? What?
That was Andre 3000. Oh, sorry, that's different.
Basketball Ultimate.
Well, you know, it's another movie about baseball that I did not like, and it's weird because I mean, I'm like one of the biggest De Niro fans. Is The Fan? I did not like that
really
movie.
about baseball though. That was more about
Fatal
baseball
Attraction.
was very back seat in that movie. That's more of a thriller.
Did you like the Kevin Costner one where he's a pitcher and he's in love? He falls in love. That was the love of the game. Or that's another baseball movie, right?
That's one of the weaker Kevin Costner.
I can't stand Kevin.
Movies.
I
Of the
can't.
3 baseball movies with
I can't stand Kevin
that I know
Costner.
of, That's
He
the
was
worst.
also in Tin Cup, which is the golf movie.
Another
I mean,
bad
Waterworld
Kevin
was
Costner
amazing.
movie. Kevin
Waterworld.
Costner has hit his quota of sports movies. He's no longer allowed, I think.
I like Necessary Roughness or Unnecessary Roughness. But that's football.
That's a good one.
But
Actually, I was going to say, if I can just add on to Tim's point, I was going to say we should actually just give Kevin Costner a break and consider Waterworld a movie, and then just say he's a sports guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, like what Brooke was saying. Brooke, you said you do not like Kevin Costner.
Really? You don't like The Bodyguard? Oh, I'm just kidding.
No, I can't stand that movie. Can't stand him. I only liked him for the fact I only respect him now because he spoke about Whitney Houston so brilliantly at her funeral. But that's it.
I think the only Kevin Costner movie I really got into was Dances with Wolves. I thought he was good in that.
Oh
but
my
then-
God, that has to be the worst
I
movie
can't
of all
stand
time.
that.
You don't like JFK?
You're kidding.
Let's
are kidding.
do the sports movies. Kevin
Yeah,
Costner's done
Okay.
at least 4 sports movies that I can think of. 2 were good, Field of Dreams and Bull Durham. 2 were pretty bad, Tin Cup and
I like Robin Hood.
what was the other one we
No.
just mentioned?
Let me tell you, Dances with Wolves is 3 hours of my
we'll let
life
it
I will never get back. You know how mad that makes me?
I've had to watch that more than once. I hate that movie.
That's an awesome movie, but I think as you get older, it gets better. As a kid, I didn't like it, but then I watched it again. But I'm a filmmaker, so.
Okay, maybe there's something you can appreciate there. Yeah, no.
How could
Well,
that movie is so stereotypical? It's ridiculous. I can't stand it.
To go back to baseball, what about Rookie of the Year?
Ugh, and what, Mr. Big League? Yeah, great. The same.
Wait, Rookie of the Year.
I just saw
The
that
woman,
the
the kid has like a cannon arm because he breaks his arm.
Yeah, he breaks his arm.
Yeah, what did they, Rockweiler, is this his name? Rockweiler? Jared Daniel Stern? Throw him the heater! No?
Yeah.
Alright.
No, that was a good one. And then in the end, like his arm, like he bumps his arm, and all of a sudden he's normal again, and the mom is like, float it.
See, that kind of movie, that's a bad movie, but it's not like Mighty Ducks bad, because like it's ludicrous to begin with. That
But the original
Here we go
Mighty Ducks
again
was...
with the Mighty Ducks.
But the original Mighty Ducks is decent. Maybe the other ones aren't. Like, not amazing, but for kids, no?
No.
Wow.
No, I'm
Sandlot,
sure there are a lot of kids that like. I know that there are a lot of kids that like it. I'm just saying.
is
that
The Sandlot a baseball movie? Does it count as a baseball movie?
I would
No,
say so.
I just have to laugh at
Sure.
Tim Clary's comment. The Naturals on YouTube, full movie. You know it's bad when. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, come on. The Natural's a classic. It's got the same kind of magical feel as Field of Dreams. Oh, man.
I was joking, really. That they
All right.
on YouTube. So.
I like Robert Redford, too. So, actually, Robert
And then-
Redford is the only good ski movie. There's been a lot of bad, cheesy 80s ski movies, but...
What about Better Off Dead?
All right. That's good, too, but the skiing is pretty minor in Better Off Dead. It's a classic movie. I love that movie, though. But Downhill Racing, 1969. Redford and Hackman was a coach again in that one, Gene Hackman, and it was amazing. It was like state-of-the-art filmmaking at the time, too. It was the first time they'd ever had a camera on board a skier, and they skied all of the courses in Europe. It's a pretty cool movie. And the story's actually pretty good, too.
You know, I'm interested in Matt's perspective specifically about something because, you know, we were just talking a couple of minutes ago about the sport kind of taking a back seat. For my money, that's the impression I got with He Got Game. How do you guys feel about that one? But Matt, as a filmmaker specifically, we'll start with you and everything like that. The whole story of Jesus Shuttlesworth and that whole thing, because basketball wasn't really like a primary.
But it was based, but it was kind of just based on, like, it was this fictional guy, right? But based on, it was played by a regular, like, the basketball player, right?
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, yeah. So he was in it. He was pretty good. It was a good movie. I think it was related to basketball. I think that idea of the corruption that could happen for the athletes, that's a big part of their lives. We don't even hear about that, right? How many basketball players or sport athletes get in trouble because of gang violence and drugs and guns, and that's pretty relevant now.
Okay, well, Hermine, it stars Denzel Washington, so we'll skip over you. We know how you feel about that. So.
Uh-oh.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, absolutely. Brooke, go ahead.
First of all, you skipped over The Sandlot. But great movie. Great baseball movie. Second of all, White Man Can't Jump is a great movie with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. It's like one of the best Wesley Snipes movies there.
Shut your anorexic, malnutrition, tapeworm habit, overdose, Dick Gregory, Bahamian diet, drinking ass up. That's from.
What was that?
That was from White Man Can't Jump.
movie.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember that line. All I remember is we go and sizzler, we go and sizzler.
Yeah, ain't nothing like Burger King.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was like the very first time that Smack Talk was actually on the silver screen, I believe.
Love and Basketball, great movie, Hermine. Yay, we agree.
Basketball Diaries.
Oh yeah, I was
going to ask about that one.
Yeah,
one of Leo DiCaprio's first movies, or very early movies. He's good in it.
He was great in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Dad.
That was right around that. It was probably the next movie he filmed after that, I think.
You think Leonardo DiCaprio's a good actor at all? Really? I mean, maybe in The Departed. Maybe in The Departed, but that's not a movie like a sports movie.
Did you see him in What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Yeah,
I've seen that movie and I didn't. No.
I do make fun of though in Departed where he's like, "You want them to chop me up and feed me to the poor?" When he does that line.
DiCaprio's been in a ton of great movies, and I'm not saying
Titanic.
I'm skipping over Titanic.
He sunk in that movie. Sunk? Oh, whoops.
I like Basketball Diaries.
So did I. I liked him in Inception. I liked him in.
Yeah, that was good.
The Departed.
Yeah, but it wasn't good because of him.
The Departed is the only one I like of it.
What was the basketball movie that was a documentary?
Blood Diamond.
Which one?
Talking about it's about it's
Hoop Dreams, maybe.
Hoop Dreams. Yeah.
Hoop Dreams.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that was classic.
Yeah. That was I think what was it? Forbes or Time Magazine actually listed that as like the #1 documentary of all time.
Of all time? Oh.
Something like that, or like the top 50 of the last 30 years, or something like that. But it topped the list.
Yeah, that's a fantastic
he wanted it to end.
documentary, definitely.
Yeah. Well, here's something. Without saying the title first, it stars D.B. Sweeney. Came out in 1991, and Moira Kelly. Yeah. How do you guys feel about figure skating, like hockey player turned figure skating? And so we'll go to
Brian loves it.
the hockey enthusiast for Brian.
I saw that movie in
cutting edge.
theaters, and
you puked in your
it was okay. It wasn't, it wasn't a cinematic masterpiece, but it was.
Were you addicted to toe picks? Were you addicted to toe picks after that and saying toe picks?
No.
Brian, what are is your ice skating skill high enough that you could compete like that? You can do flips and stuff?
I don't know about the
turns.
Yeah, like I have good edge control, but I don't know if I would.
Can you
have
jump?
to practice it doing the jumps.
Could you pull up the Krushenko?
Maybe.
And that's highly embarrassing that I actually remember. I'm not the only one that actually remembers.
Would you wear tights? Is more important.
I guess I would if it was.
Why not? Oh, what was that movie with Will Ferrell and John Eater? The
Glory.
I love that movie. It's
That's a sports movie, right? And Bobby, what about NASCAR? Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's
Dodgeball.
Days of Thunder.
Dodgeball's awesome.
Here's an interesting perspective.
I was going to get to that list.
No, it's kind of hard, I guess, from a filmmaking standpoint, because sports are either they're either fabricated reality or they're retelling a story that everybody knows already. So something that's really hard to do is making a sequel to a sports movie. Are there any sequels that are legitimate films that people can actually enjoy, and not for just oh god, this movie's such a train wreck, I just have to watch it and everything?
Are there baseball movies besides Major League? Are there sports movies besides Major League that have sequels?
Well, the Major League sequels were okay.
Besides Rocky.
Rocky. Oh yeah, yes.
Which we've talked about ad nauseum.
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid.
Major League sequels were any good.
Yeah, but
one of them was okay.
Maybe the second one. I can't remember.
Yeah, the second one was okay. Then the one was back in the minors. That was
Yeah. No.
So do you guys consider all martial arts movies sports movies?
Yes, I do.
For the purpose of this discussion,
Yeah.
Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like that's kind of like saying, do we consider Real Steel, which just came out, at least last year? You know, is that a sports movie because it's about martial
I didn't
arts
see
or
it.
boxing, but you know, it's robotics and everything like
Robots.
that. I would consider that a sports movie.
Fail.
Technically,
Fail.
yeah.
Horrible. No.
The Wrestler is a great movie.
The Wrestler is very good.
That's one of my top movies.
Okay,
It
wait.
is good.
So Real Steel is not a sports movie, or it's not a good movie?
Neither.
I didn't see
Both.
it. I don't know.
I
Oh
think
my
you
gosh. Hugh Jackman and a friggin' robot? Are you kidding me?
You could argue that it's a sports movie, but
You could argue that anything's a sports movie. Is sex movies sports movies? Is sex a sport?
no.
no.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's
like
like,
Well,
no.
maybe with
Yeah,
Matthew,
I
if there's
would
a winner and
hope
there's
that-
a loser.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be two winners in that, so no.
Yeah.
Well, the San Fernando Valley is hoping you're right, Matthew.
Wow. Boom. Shakalaka.
Real Steel is, or whatever that movie was, I don't even, something Steel, was not a sports movie. I mean, you can't be serious that he trains a robot.
Yeah, but if
Friggin' win. Like
Wait, but doesn't he have to be athletic? Isn't it his moves? I don't. From what I saw, he has to train.
I thought so, but also like you're not giving enough value to robotic life. If you took that character and made him human, then it would be a sports movie.
No,
You know,
I
it's hard- I
wouldn't
never-
say that either.
You guys brought up Karate Kid, and I'm really thinking about this. Do I really think Karate Kid is a sports movie? I don't think it is.
It's a competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Karate
but
Kid is definitely a sports movie.
What?
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay, well, you know what's funny? I mean, if I can just interject, if you guys ever remember who played Johnny was Billy Zabka.
Zabka, yeah.
If you guys actually find Billy Zabka on Twitter, his profile bio line, it says, "Hi, I'm Billy Zabka, actor, editor, and I won the 1984 All Valley Karate Tournament."
Nice.
And even more importantly, he was the bully not only in that movie but also Back to School. And
He was the best.
just one of the
80s
guys. He was
And
the
just
80s
one of the
bully.
guys.
Yeah.
Just one of the guys should be a sports movie. I don't care. Just because.
Just one of the guys in a
awesome.
sports movie.
No, just because it's so awesome.
All right.
What about
Was,
Jerry
was he in Back to
Maguire?
School too?
Yeah, so is Back to School a sports movie because he does a triple Lindy? Like,
No, that's about
No,
it's about an
that
old guy
was
going
not
back to
sports
school. It's not about him.
it's about
Okay,
the diving
Hermine-
team.
It is not about the diving.
It is.
Okay, Hermine just put Jerry Maguire. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that Jerry Maguire was a great film. Is that a sports film, though?
I have not seen Jerry Maguire.
It's about a sports agent, so I would think yes.
Yeah, it's a different.
Yeah, if it's about, I mean,
I have not seen that. Can't
you
stand
haven't
Tom
seen Jerry
Cruise.
Maguire? It's okay. It is more about the relationships.
But
Yeah,
same
but
with-
It's more of a
movies are
romantic
about the
comedy.
relationships, aren't they?
But
But all the movies are about relationships.
no, but there's a difference between a sports movie and a romantic comedy in general. Yeah, Blindside might fall into that category too, where the sports are kind of secondary. I don't know.
Well, Cuba Gooding Jr. was brilliant in that movie. He was amazing.
Yeah, and there are a lot of
And look what happened
sports
since.
elements in that movie, but it may not be a sports movie in the way we were talking about them earlier, as far as the inspirational story and the arc of the character, the team, the
Yeah.
competition being the driving force in the movie. I don't know.
Okay. $1 Million Baby. What do you guys got?
Love it. Great,
Yeah.
and a great boxing movie.
But that's both, right? So that really has both. And
No,
that's like,
definitely a sports movie, though.
and that's like two movies in one.
It is. It is.
How come we haven't named...
$1 Million Baby. Go ahead.
What? I was going to say, how come we haven't named the fighter yet? Come on.
Oh, I know.
Well, I named the
At
wrestler.
some point, I was going to name my 4 to 5 best boxing movies that are actually better than Rocky. Any of the Rockies, especially Rocky 3. And the fighters on.
What do you
there-
have against Rocky 3? Clever Lang?
Yeah, Clubber Lang, Thunder Lips, Man Love on the Beach. I mean, come on.
Those are his friends, so I still love them.
With Rocky 3.
It's not that he's got anything against Rocky 3. He's
Yeah,
got
it does.
me loving Rocky 3 as much as I do.
No, seriously though. But okay, you got The Fighter, you got $1 Million Baby, you got Raging Bull, you got The Hurricane. That's at least 4 good boxing movies that I think are probably better than any of the Rocky movies.
Even the original Rocky?
Even the original.
Well, also Million Dollar Baby was one of those movies that just has that insane plot twist at the end. Like I remember, when the movie came out, people would come out of the theater and spoiler, and like, wait a minute, she dies?
Yeah, that's I can't think of another sports movie that has a twist like that. Is a total
They're typing in the
gut
chat.
punch.
Kingpin and Rudy, 2 great movies.
Yeah, we talked about Rudy earlier on.
Sorry, no, but the Kingpin, I almost wet my pants with how the opening scene was the funniest opening scene I've ever seen. I mean, I died.
Bill Murray.
I love Bill Murray.
He is. He's awesome.
Wait, Bill Murray hasn't been in too many bad movies, right? A few, but not many.
Not many. I mean, I'd have
Garfield.
Well, that he
He
did.
was in Garfield? Oh, God.
Well, his voice was.
That's pretty bad.
Is What About Bob a sports movie?
But that's a great movie. So
Did you really just say Days of Thunder? Really?
It's a sports movie.
I
That's a
absolutely
great movie.
can't stand that movie.
Do not hate on Days of Thunder. That is.
Are you
great
on a
movie.
delay? Didn't we say? Okay, I'm confused. Oh. All right.
Okay, here's my argument against Days of Thunder. It's okay, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise before they divorced, and it was getting all their frustration out in one movie against each other. That's not a sports movie. That is playing your whole relationship in a movie before you friggin' divorce. Ridiculous. That's not a movie. It wasn't even about the NASCAR. It was about ugh.
Okay.
I think.
I thought it was a great movie.
Heaven can wait.
Okay, but does
I
nobody
love
bring
Bend It
the
Like Beckham though.
Heaven can wait, the original or Chris Rock's version?
Chris Rock's version of what?
Heaven can wait.
Heaven Can Wait? I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Oh, that's old school. You got to go back.
Warren Beatty.
Okay, wait.
Warren Beatty.
If you like Bend It Like Beckham, then you're one of those people that thinks From Justin to Kelly is cinema's finest hour.
No, it's not fair.
I like Bend It Like Beckham.
Bend It Like Beckham is better than
So is
Ellie, and I've seen both. So I'm gonna.
Have you seen Ladybugs? What? That's like the Mighty Ducks of soccer, Ladybugs, right?
I've seen that one too, and that movie's cute. But let's go back to Bend It Like Beckham for a minute. That was before people even knew who Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was or Keira Knightley. That was before the whole Pirates thing. And that was actually a quality movie about soccer. And it really didn't even have... They only showed David Beckham for 2 seconds in the ending of the movie. Spoiler alert, but anyway. It's a great movie.
What about horse racing?
Seabiscuit. Yes, Seabiscuit. I didn't see Secretariat.
What was the one that
I didn't see Secretariat either. But
Yeah.
Seabiscuit was
I
good.
wasn't really... Secretariat was all right, but I wouldn't really consider that one of my all-time best sports movies because it was... I thought it should have been so much more.
Tobey Maguire.
No, the actress.
In Seabiscuit, the actress?
Oh,
Secretariat.
Sorry, Secretariat that I'm thinking of.
Diane Lane.
That's Diane Lane, I think.
Diane Lane. Oh, I just love her. Oh.
I love her too. Enough said.
Ladybugs is a great movie. Rodney Dangerfield is hilarious as the coach.
I got a lot of balls!
That was a good. And then, I don't know. It doesn't shock me that kid wound up committing suicide.
Really?
It happens.
Yeah, the kid that was in that movie.
Way to bring the show down. Way to bring the show down.
Wow. Yeah.
Jonathan Brandis.
Okay, and on that very happy note that Brian transitioned to us, let's wrap up here because I know we're going on an hour now. So I was gonna say let's go from left to right, starting with Mr. McDonald in New Jersey. So maybe if you can, each of us will do our 3 best and 3 worst sports movies, and each of us will either applaud or laugh. So keep it in the back of your mind, and Brian, the honor is yours. So your 3 best and 3 worst sports movies. Keep in mind these are completely subjective.
Yeah. All right. Well, the number one is easy. That's Miracle for me at least. Just because they perfectly recreated pretty much everything about the event, and as far as recreating each goal exactly how it was scored, and then Kurt Russell was awesome in it, and the fact that they got actual hockey players, and I forget his name, but they actually had one of the players' sons played him in the movie I think
that was a Buzz Schneider.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's an easy number one for me. For a comedy, I have to throw in a comedy movie in there. It's difficult. Major League is probably like one that I can always watch. And then let's see, I think Remember the Titans is probably another one too. That has to be a top 3. Honorable mention to Happy Gilmore.
Oh, that's like number 1 for me.
And the worst movies, Mighty Ducks is bad, but it's not the worst. It's difficult to think of the worst movies. Because, there's ones that are, like, obviously terrible, but then there's ones that, like, people actually like, and then you're like, it's like, why? But, The Fan was pretty bad. The Slapshot sequels were really terrible. Like, very, very, very bad. And
he mentioned sports sequels. Rocky sequels those are good. Like that would be
I'm saying that the Slapshot sequels are good.
Right, I know, but he mentioned earlier, and I couldn't think of like sports sequels. But I guess if Rocky and Karate Kid. Karate Kid 2 is decent.
Yeah, we mentioned both of those. You weren't paying
Okay,
attention.
I wasn't here. No, I wasn't here for that.
No, you were. You just weren't paying attention.
For the sequels.
And, so one more bad sports movie. Let's see, having trouble thinking of one now. I'll go with. I have to go with Mr. 3000 just because I mentioned that before. It was very bad.
All right. Well, with the exception of your hatred of Mighty Ducks, Brian, you are a gentleman and a scholar. So.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, so Brooke, your turn. You're on the firing line from Arizona, coming to us from Starbucks. So your 3 best and 3 worst, please, man.
Well, my all-time favorite movie of all time, including any movie that I'll ever see for the rest of my life, is Remember the Titans. Close second is a tie either between Waterboy and Replacements. And third, well, we didn't talk about this. I'm going to have to say a 3-way tie, or a 2-way tie on the third, too. We didn't talk about Coach Carter, and I'll tie with Glory Road. Worst movies, what did I mention in the chat? I think I mentioned anything with Kevin Costner. Tom Cruise. Pretty much. I don't know. The Air Bud movies. I really can't get over the fact that a dog played basketball. I mean, it worked, but it didn't. So I'll have to say all of those because there was 3 Air Bud
combined.
All right, well done. Good job. Okay, Hermine, San Antonio, Texas. Your 3 best and 3 worst, please.
My favorites were Searching for Bobby Fischer, Rudy, I just love it, and Hoosiers. The ones I did not like, as much of a fan of Michael Jordan I was, and basketball in general, anything around him, like Mike. I didn't like The Legend of Bagger Vance, and I hated Chariots of Fire. And I know there's people that are going to kill me, but take your turn.
So you are unashamedly opinionated and brave as hell. So. All right, good job. Okay, we're gonna skip over me because I reserve the executive authority as the host and everything to have the last word and basically make a fool of myself one more time. So we're gonna go to our filmmaker panelist, Mr. Rappaport. Your 3 best and 3 worst, please, sir.
All right. Well, I didn't know I was going to be on the spot. I got the 3 best right away. I mean, there's so many great sports movies. It's hard for me to. But movies that are best for me are ones that touched me when I was a kid in the right places. Karate Kid, right off the bat, is just a classic
2 seconds ago, you were telling us it wasn't even a sports movie.
But if it counts as a sports movie, then I'd ask you, does it count? All right. Karate shows a doll. The first Karate Kid is a classic movie. The remake was just dog crap for me. Sorry. Rounders. If poker movies count, I love that movie. I think it's really great. Next time I stick it in you. I think it's a pretty good movie. And Happy Gilmore The Price is Wrong. But and then if Fight Club counts, I don't know if Fight Club's a sports movie. They do fight a lot, but Fight Club and The Wrestler are up there as well. As far as worst movies go, that's tricky. All those movies mentioned. No Holds Barred is pretty bad. Air Bud, all the Air Buds. Looking at this list of bad movies. Yeah, I guess it does. Rocky 5 is kind of laughable. You know, that was not really. That was pretty bad for Rocky. But that's what I got. So.
All right, thank you very much. Well,
Juwanna Man, that was pretty bad. Sorry.
I actually have Juwanna Man down there. We didn't even talk about that, and probably mercifully so. So okay, so if Fight Club is going to be considered a sports movie, maybe by some people's opinion, then The Notebook is a sports movie. So. Okay, and then Tim Clary has been an absolute.
What? Wait, they actually fight each other. They actually physically fight.
Yeah. Anyway.
Exactly my point. Okay.
I'm just going to let that one slide.
So Tim Clary from upstate New York, it's been a delight to have you in my circles, and after this discussion here, you're probably going to uncircle me. So, as your parting shot and everything, what are your top 3 and lower 3?
Oh boy, this is tough. But Hoosiers is definitely one of the 3, and I'm not going to go 1 to 3 because they'd probably have to shift around, and I'd have to really think about it. I'm going to say Field of Dreams, number 2. I'm a huge baseball fan, and that movie's, you know, it's the soul of baseball is in that movie, I think. Now for the third one, boy, let me check my list and see what else I really loved. I love boxing movies. Boy, there's so many good ones. The Fighter and $1 Million Baby are probably they battle it out for that third spot, maybe. There's a bunch of other great movies we didn't talk about. American Flyers and Breaking Away are 2 cycling movies that were really good. What else? The Hustler, if we're going to pool, The Hustler and The Color of Money. The Hustler being my favorite of those 2. Downhill Racer has a little special spot in my heart as being the only good skiing movie. But
yeah,
that's enough.
That's
enough good ones.
Apparently.
What's that?
Yeah, you've hit the slopes a couple times based on like your intimate knowledge of downhill skiing.
Yeah. I mean, I was an instructor and a race coach, and I raced in high school and college as well. So.
All right. Okay, so what 3 are terrible?
3 terrible movies. Boy, this is tough. There's one with is that Juwanna Man that has oh God, I can't even think of his name. He's forget it.
Miguel something Jr.
How about Space Jam? Michael Jordan acting with Bugs Bunny. Nah,
Bill Murray saving the day.
What was that one?
Bill Murray saves the day in Space Jam.
I know, that's awesome. How could you?
That was actually what I meant by the worst, but I said like Mike, but it was Space Jam. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Space Jam's pretty bad.
I like Space Jam.
I don't think it's that bad. It's not Leonard Part 6.
Oh.
Ooh.
The remake of Bad News Bears.
Bill Cosby just joined the Hangout. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Meet Matthew.
And Ghost Dad. What? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a bunch of other bad ones that are unmemorable, but Rocky 3 is memorably bad. I'm going to put that on my bad list.
Wait. Is Rocky 3 worse than Rocky 5?
I've seen Rocky 3 multiple times and multiple.
Why would you watch it multiple times? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, there. You just negated your argument. The fact that you've watched it more than once.
Maybe he worked at a block.
Hold on again. Again, I will say, Rocky 3 is not as bad as Rocky Balboa.
Okay, well, I
Rocky
have
Balboa is one of the most depressing movies ever.
And I don't know if I've ever seen Rocky 5 all the way through. But
That's Rocky. Is that Rocky 6, Rocky Balboa?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So Rocky Balboa is worse than Rocky 5 with the guy, what's his face, where he trains the other guy instead of his son?
Protege that betrays
Tommy
him.
Gunn.
My argument for
Tommy
this
Gunn.
is I win.
You should come over here so we can
Okay.
kick each other's ass.
I saw Rocky Balboa in theaters because I was like, yay, he's back and he's 60, woohoo, right? Well, it was one of the most like depressing movies ever because, well, Adrian had passed away. The son is all grown up and like in college, and the whole point of the movie is basically for Rocky to do one last fight because he's broke and he's elderly, and it's really, really depressing.
It sounds pretty bad.
What's more depressing to me is that in Rocky V, his actual son played his son. In Rocky VI, the guy from Heroes, Vito Villa, whatever, was his son. They look nothing alike. All right.
Okay, well, based on that nepotism, Matthew, we won't even ask you about how you feel about Godfather 3. So.
Oh, ouch.
That's
that.
Yeah, that, and actually,
there's another Stallone movie I just thought of that's terrible. Over the Top.
Actually,
oh, that's
Over
not
the Top,
terrible. I like that.
Come on.
the song is great.
Meet
The
me
song is
halfway
great. Maybe in
across
the next hangout we'll talk about sports soundtracks.
What about Victory? That soccer movie he was in. That was great. The Prison.
I don't
Best
know if I-
soundtrack ever, Remember the Titans.
I'm already throwing up.
All right, Jason, what do you got?
Okay, so let me wrap up because it's in the middle of my workday here. Okay, so my also ran, as it were, and my honorable mention. Even though
You might want to for this, just so you can.
is that Brooke?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though technically it was not a major theatrical release, I really enjoyed Brian's Song. For those of you who can go back that far, which was
James
an
Caan.
amazing film. Yep. The true story of Brian Piccolo, of course, in the Chicago Bears. That's not one of my major ones. What else? The Air Up There was one of my favorite movies, even though most of you will not remember Kevin Bacon when he goes to Africa and finds like that 7'3".
Oh man, that was that was one of the ones I was trying to come up with for my bad list. The Air Up There.
No, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay. Also, American Anthem. Remember that? Janet Jones, the future Mrs. Wayne Gretzky. That was a good movie about gymnastics. But for my top 3 movies, I would have to say, in no particular order, Varsity Blues, which I really enjoyed. I've watched that like over and over and over. The Program, about college football, which people are kind of on the fence about. And
Is Nick Nolte in that, or that's Blue Chips?
that's Blue Chips.
Blue Chips.
I think they're essentially the same movie. If I remember.
Yeah, well, the program has James Caan, who does a pretty good job playing a
It's not
coach.
basketball and football, but essentially it's the same movie.
Oh, also one last honorable mention for me was Summer Catch, which a lot of people don't like, but I thought was pretty good with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jessica Biel. And I could see everybody laughing, so I'll just
Wait! You just said one of a good movie with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, it
Is
was
possible?
not bad. It was not.
It has
Like,
Freddie
because
Prinze
it's about-
Jr. in it.
Your best of list.
a minor league baseball player trying to get up to the majors, which I can identify.
You think Freddie Prinze Jr. is a good actor?
I thought he was all right in that movie. I thought he played a good baseball player. I don't think he's like a master thespian, but I think he played a good baseball player, and he played a good pitcher specifically. Okay, and then now to complete the cycle of you guys thinking I'm a total idiot, I thought one of my also all-time favorite. I'm just gonna go with a clean sweep of football movies was Wildcats with Goldie Hawn. That was a good movie. Going back to the '80s, so that's kind of like on our means. And Brooke is cracking up. So
Brooke
That was
is
a great
actually
movie.
herself laughing right now.
and it had a memorable end credit sequence at the.
Goldie Hawn and a
looking at my notes.
freaking
Okay,
sports
so
movie.
For my,
Anything, let alone a sports movie.
all right.
You don't like
Okay,
Goldie
so-
Hawn?
Well, I guess
So
we
the
have,
movies that I thought were absolutely terrible. I've got
Wait a
Invincible
minute.
with Mark
Did
Wahlberg.
you get your top three, or you're going to terrible and then you're coming back to top three?
He named
No, that was the top three.
The top three was number one was Wildcats.
No, I didn't. Not number one, but that's one of my favorite sports movies of all time. I love that movie. That was a great
Is
movie.
Revenge of the Nerds a sports movie? Okay, because they do a little race car thing and. All right.
Okay, so for my worst three sports movies, I thought Invincible with Mark Wahlberg. I did not enjoy that. Phenomenal story about Vince Papale with the
I love that
Philadelphia Eagles. I
movie.
did not like the movie.
Anything with
I
the
did not like
Wahlbergs,
it.
anyway.
Actually sucked.
Oh,
Wait,
man.
did you say Wahlberg's like plus plural? There's multiple. Oh, there's Donnie, I guess.
There's
any of
9
the Karate Kid
Wahlbergs, and I
sequels?
love both.
Say hello to your mother for me.
Yeah. any of the Karate Kid
Go
sequels
on.
I do not enjoy after the first one, even part 2.
You didn't like part 2?
And-
When they go
No,
to
I did
Japan?
not.
Part 2 is not the worst one though. 3 is way worse than 2.
Yeah, and then probably my worst sports movie of all time is an amalgamation. It's any movie about volleyball, and we already mentioned like Side Up and Spiker. They are absolutely horrendous.
Top Gun.
Absolutely. Even the Top Gun, that whole vignette with volleyball and everything, ridiculous.
Playing volleyball in jeans. Gotta love it.
Okay.
Okay, so hey, thanks a lot for the time, you guys. I really appreciate it and everything. I guess this is going to be up in an hour and everything like that, but it's really good to have you guys as friends, and I would love to do this again sometime, like with some other aspect. Maybe we'll talk about like sports soundtracks, or I'm already planning on doing another one on the technology of sports and everything. So I'd love to have you guys jump in and participate on that one as well.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
It'd be cool if we get there a list. If we could make our own list from this book, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We'll work on that. All right, thank you, my friends.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wait, will you guys not go?